Lunch with Lucille, a brand new book. It's a work of fiction, tackles many issues like getting older, self-confidence, and relationships. Let me first ask you, is this your first work of fiction?
It is my first work of fiction. I have been contributing author in two other publications. They were obviously nonfiction then. One called Speaking of Success with Dr. Stephen Covey and Brian Tracy, and then another book, One Great Idea Can Revolutionize Your Business.
There you go.
There you go.
So this is your Lunch with Lucille is your first work of fiction. What inspired you to write this book?
What inspired me to write the book? Well, let's see. I've always wanted to write a work of fiction.
Okay.
So first of all, I had that drive. And in my professional development business, because I own a company called ROI Training and Consulting, we are a professional development and business management consulting firm. And in that, I do a lot of training. I go around to businesses, work with a lot of female audiences. And I decided that I really wanted to bring some type of written document to them. It's almost like a leave behind. So I said, well, what is it that I really want to write about? So I kept on hearing this voice in my head, and I know you don't know me, but
it's okay.
So I hear voices. I heard this voice in my head, and I kept on saying, Annarose, write what you know. And I heard it over and over and over again. Annarose, write what you know. And after a while, I realized that this voice that I was hearing, it was actually my mother's voice. And I'm a very, very, very good daughter, so I ignored it. But after a while, I realized that, that's what it is. That's what my third grade teacher would tell me, write what you know. And now I'm hearing it, 50 years later to continue to write what I know.
Right.
So I said, well, I had to boil it down to what is it that I know. So I figured, well, let's see. I know about aging. I know about change because that's what I've been doing now for a very long time. I know about motivational speaking. I've been doing motivational speaking for, several decades.
Sure.
And then I know about this woman, Lucille, because Lucille is my mother. The character, character of Lucille is based on the character of my mother. So I figured, well, let's see. So I know about motivational speaking, I know about aging and change, and I know about my mother. So I figured, well, that's a trifecta. Those are the three things that I know about. And so with that, I sat down and I started to write Lunch with Lucille.
Right. Now, Lunch with Lucille, so Lucille is basically your mother.
Correct.
It's based on your mother. And so what exactly are you hoping, I know without giving away the storyline or anything, because you want people to actually go out and read the book, what are you hoping to drive home? What is the point or the message that you're trying to get across with the book? You want to give like a general theme?
Sure. Lunch with Lucille is it's intended to be an inspiring and uplifting novel.
Okay.
It is also very entertaining because Lucille delivers this message in a very entertaining way. And what she is saying is that we need to look at ourselves and value ourselves and value where we are at this point in our life. She has lived a life that, as we all have, with ups and downs and challenges and successes and failures. And she's trying to teach us through her modeling how we should then celebrate each day, how we should learn each day to celebrate each day.
Right. So I guess part of the gist of it would be, learning how to take every day, one day at a time, and celebrating what you have instead of, always looking to the future. Would that possibly be part of it as well?
Yes, in that sense, to live in the moment.
Right, to
yes,
live in the moment.
To definitely live in the moment, yes. And what she does is, what's unique about Lucille is that she espouses her lessons by her modeling, she lives it. And she wears what we call a jewel of inspiration, a 4-diamond brooch. And each one of those diamonds symbolizes a special message.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so that her goal then is for all women to be wearing a 4-diamond brooch.
Gotcha.
And to all women to be practicing and exercising before what I call best practices.
Right.
They're fundamental best practices.
Okay. Now, I confess I haven't yet read the book, but I did. I'm looking forward to doing that. I did glance at the opening couple of pages a little while ago, and I saw a little introductory thing in there that if you're reading this, you're probably over 40 like me. So are you mainly looking for the baby boomer type crowd to read this book, or is this something that would even interest students at a younger age?
It transcends, Lunch with Lucille transcends age, transcends gender. What it does is it focuses on, like I was saying before, 4 diamonds, which are fundamental best practices.
Okay.
Now, going going back to writing what you know, I know women, boomer women. I'm a boomer woman, so that's where that came from. So target market, yes.
Right.
However, when we did several focus groups with gentlemen your age, so perhaps in their late 20s, so Gen X and Gen Yers, I should say.
Thank you very much. I'm actually in my 30s. I mean, that's helpful.
You're just a child. So put that into perspective.
Yeah.
So when we did focus groups, it didn't matter. And actually, one focus group we did with males in the 35 to 40-year-olds.
Right.
They were kind of a little bit insulted that I had targeted that market for women. They said, these are just life lessons. These are life-affirming messages that Lucille is giving.
Right.
And I'll give you the first diamond, because they're represented by diamonds. And the first diamond that she talks about is to change perspective. Now, that doesn't really apply necessarily to females or to any age group in particular.
Anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what she's looking at. She's telling, when you think this way, I encourage you to try to think another way.
Okay.
So that's the first diamond.
Very good. Well, you've gotten some nice critical reception for the book, turning the corner a little bit with the interview here. Wall Street Journal, Market Watch wrote it up in a retirement living article. How did that all come about?
Well, I guess it was fate.
Yeah.
What had happened was several months ago, I guess it was December last year, late 2012. There was an article written by Robert Powell in the Wall Street Journal, and it talked about in retirement living. So his market, his audience for that article were people who were getting ready to retire, and he was focusing on people to remind them that not only do you have to hand down your finances and you have to create that legacy, you also have to think about in terms of handing down your values. And this really goes directly to the heart of Lucille, of what is it that you leave behind. How do you transfer what you know to the next generation? And so I wrote Robert Powell a email. I just shot him off an email. They have the little thing for comments. So I shot him off an email, and the admin, I guess it was, shot me back an email and says, thank you very much, and if Mr. Powell wants to speak with you, he'll get in touch with you.
Thought it was just some
exactly. And sure enough, 2 months later, right after the Super Bowl, he had seen perhaps you've seen the Taco Bell commercial?
Yeah.
Right, so he asked me, he just shot me an email that asked, did you see the Taco Bell commercial? If you did, I'd like your feedback on it, as well as give me your thoughts about how to stay youthful, which is really what Lucille is talking about.
What it's about, yeah.
Yes.
So he wrote a nice article about that, and has the article on retirement living in Market Watch helped the boom of your book?
Very much so. It
really?
gave it a nice little bump.
Very good.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and I got some really nice feedback, some great emails. Yeah, it was.
So is this story going to continue? Are you already thinking of sequels and building it? But obviously this is your first work of fiction, but it seems to be off to a slam bang start. So are you going to continue this?
Yeah, the plan is definitely to continue this. The book was written so that it would become a favorite for reading groups, and that's what it has. And also then now we're going to go into a sequel.
Okay.
And also the other thing is to build this brand. There's a whole product line that's associated with Lucille.
Oh, neat. Okay.
One of the biggest products, of course, is the 4-diamond brooch, because the goal for Lucille, as well as for the Lunch with Lucille brand, is that all women wear the 4-diamond brooch. That all women, if you think about this, join this club, that we're all in the same boat. We all recognize that we all have these ups and downs, and we all have these challenges, and yet we all know that if we work together, stick together, mentor each other, help each other, that we can get through it. And that's what Lucille is all about. And so that's why one of the biggest products that we have for sale is the 4-diamond brooch.
Yeah, it's neat. It's a very good point, because I was on the website, and it's more than just a website promoting the book and a biography about you. You've got a little, shop area here, the brooch media room. It's a very nicely done website.
Thank you.
And so do you want to, plug your website right about now? Let us know how we can get more information about you, the book, where we can get our copy out. You've got, in this day and age, you have to have the electronic version, so I see there's even Kindle versions out there.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that.
So the book is available on Amazon.com. There, you can either go through the website, www.lunchwithlucille.com.
Okay.
You could go straight through to Amazon. It also is available on Kindle. The product line is only available off the website, www.
I think there's one too many W's.
Yeah, right. And also, the book is also available at Firefly.
Okay.
It's on the shelf at Firefly and at Wise Owl in West Reading.
Okay.
So it's in a couple bookstores as well.
It's very exciting. Well, do you have any other final thoughts? Any passing thoughts of what you hope that people come away with, or just here's your chance right here?
Well, I guess one of the things that I would like everyone to, besides walking away with the idea that the four-diamond brooch is the jewel of inspiration, and that to focus in on those four fundamentals, is also to keep in mind that as a student, and you're thinking of writing, sit down, listen to yourself. Even if your mother's not ringing in your head, listen to yourself and write what you know. Sit down and write what you know. It's a very cathartic, it's very helpful, and it's also something that you're going to need to do. You're going to need to be able to write, regardless of whether it's going to be online or on paper. You need to know how to write, and you need to know how to speak to it. And those are fundamentals that we all need to do, regardless of the occupation that we're going into. So I would really encourage people to do that.
Did you ever see yourself as a fiction writer? Is this something that just came about?
Well, I always wanted to write a book, yeah. In my training, I tell a lot of stories. And my keynote speeches, that's what they really are, stories. And so people would always say, that's a great story. Why don't you write about it? And so when I started, this started as a keynote speech. And I had which is a 45-minute snapshot. And someone once said to me, you really need to flesh that out and make that a bigger story. And that's how
it came about.
Yeah, right.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the show today, Annarose and Ingarra-Milch. Your book is called Lunch with Lucille. We can get everything we wanted to know about it at lunchwithlucille.com. Thanks so much for being a part of the show today.
Thanks, Mike. And also visit me on Facebook because I have no idea what I'm doing there. So please help me out. And then I also want to salute you, too, for that best news interview that you just had with the Intercollegiate Broadcasting Society.
Thank you.
It's been my honor to sit next to you.
Oh, the honor is mine, trust me. Thank you very much. And speaking of your Facebook, you've got that linked very nicely on your website, so everything is right there.
Thank you.
So we'll check that out. Thank you so much, and we hope to talk to you again soon when your next book comes out.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, we're going to take a short break now, come back with...